have a friend that makes t-shirts. And I think a lot of people, when they're starting companies, they try to reinvent the wheel instead of reaching out to their friends or their friends of friends and say, listen, I need help to start my business. And a lot of companies now, I mean, like I'm an old man now. I just turned 53, but there's still such thing as bartering in today's business world. You know,
For
like I
sure.
just had Sharon Lechter from Rich Dad come on, and she was talking about her and Robert when they started the company. They had no credit, so they had to kind of do things a different way, and they had to do a lot of bartering. Just, you know, like if you come on my show, you help me out, I'll help promote you out. So talk to us about not having to reinvent the wheel, especially with a lot of products that are already out there.
And that's a big deal, right? Because so we could really go into depth with this, but reality is if you have somebody help you who already knows how to do something, you are baking in a certain level of scale into your business. And this is why unless we're working on a hard tech, like a science thing, something that's never existed ever, and then we're collaborating with experts, we're working with the right contract manufacturer, we're putting the right resources in place to make sure that we can be successful. But when I look at people just starting, I have a roadmap we call the traction product framework. And there's this temptation to say, like, I'm going to roast my own coffee beans, right? So I said, okay, step one is now you need a space. Step two is you need to have the machine. You have to figure out how to do it. The big obstacle to a business is knowing how to sell it, building the brand and selling the product. You can just hire somebody to do all that. So why are you putting additional obstacles in your way? And people do this because of fear and control issues and ego and a mix of different things. But the reality is there's great businesses that sell products that they've never made anything in their entire corporate history. That they just curate brands. There used to be malls filled with these companies, right? But if you look at a lot of really successful brands all the way up, you see like Apple's got $1 trillion in the bank, and now they're just thinking about making their own product, right? Because I think when you look at that scale, Steve Jobs was burned because when they started, they had to build their own product in their garage, and he realized, wow, I am a great salesperson. I can generate demand, but as long as I'm making this myself, I can only sell as much as I can do.
Yeah.
Right. So if I can collaborate with somebody who's an expert in doing this thing, they're an infrastructure business. So I'm in a manufacturing factory right now. I'm in K-Form, contract manufacturing company. And we're really, at the end of the day, we're infrastructure on tap. But the mistake that a lot of entrepreneurs make is they want to make that hat that you have. So their first thing is to save up money for the embroidery machine. And then they buy it, then they make the hat, and then nobody wants it. And then I see this all the way up, and people come to me and they're like, okay, I've hit a roadblock. How do I actually sell my XYZ? Right. And I feel like people make things more complicated to avoid the stuff that is out of their control. Or really smart technical people do this all the time. They spend forever building the product, and because it feels comprehensible, it feels approachable, they understand it. And then when it comes to selling it, it just sits there in their garage, and they've wasted hundreds of thousands of dollars, on a product that nobody wants, or they have no ability to go to market. But I don't know if that properly answers the question. Yeah.
But, like when I first started the show, I used to, joke around, every veteran, when they get out of the military, wants to start a t-shirt company, a hat company, liquor or coffee. And I got 3 out of 4. But it's kind of, I had to realize, because I'm a big Shark Tank guy. I actually just had Mark Cuban's brother on last week talking about stuff. But it's amazing how when